Hey guys, so you're about to fish your first tournament and you're trying to figure out what equipment you need to bring. Give me 7 minutes and I'll show you what I know. Hey guys, it's Anthony Douglas here, ADE Fishing, your fishing channel for new anglers trying to build their tournament skills. So, we're here, we're discussing it. Let's get it straight. You need to figure out what you want to bring for a tournament. So, you've got like 20 rods, you want to bring 20 rods and 50 boxes. That's not going to work. So let's start from the top. The things you need to bring for a tournament are pretty simple. Do not, and I repeat, do not bring too much gear. If you bring too much gear, you will offend your boaters, you'll offend all the people that you know, and that's a headache you don't want to have. So here we go. So if it's me, I'm going to tell you what I would bring. I would bring no more than 7 rods. 5 of those rods would be technique specific rods, usually bait casting rods, like flipping rods, crankbaiting rods, topwater rods, heavy rods for pitching and punch rigging, things like that. So you get those technique specific rods, topwater, so on and so forth. And once you have those ironed out, you get them tied on, have them ready to go, so you're ready to do your tournament thing. They give you some versatility. Truthfully, you can do it in 3. You can do it in 3 rods, because of those 3 rods, of the 3 different general specific types of rods, the parabolics in those 3 types of rods, one of them would be a medium heavy. That would be something for Carolina rig or heavy worms, or you're doing some basic pitching. You can bring the broomstick if you choose to, the one that's extra heavy, or just a heavy rod, so that you're able to do some punch rigging, or you're able to pitch 2-ounce weighted things through lily pads and hydrilla and things like that. The other is your basic crank rod. Your cranking rod is the most versatile of all of them, and it can handle pretty much everything. So anything you're cranking, be it a spinnerbait, be it topwater, be it crankbait, square bill, that's always pretty cool. For me, I have a additional one that is a medium light that I bring with me as well. Now my medium light rod, if I'm trying to twitch stick baits or small crankbaits, I can throw them a country mile. It's a buggy whip, and it can just hit those lures across the lake. And it's really sensitive, so you're not going to be ripping the lure out of fish's mouth just on the hook set, just snatching all of their lips off. It'll set the hook, it'll keep a bend to it, and it'll keep the fish pinned. So, keeping it real, those 5 are your staples. But you cannot go out there without the 2 open face reels. If you're going to make some adjustments, you make adjustments on your rod counts. Go 4 and 3. And if you have 3 open face reels, what are you going to do? Spinning tackle is probably the easiest and most versatile out there. The ratios for crank is, they go as low as 4.3 to 1. So if you have something that you want to crank real slow, you can definitely do that. But for me, I make sure of 2 things. If you get on my boat and you grab my spinning reels, you will see 1, a Senko tied on one of them. You'll see a drop shot tied on the other. I don't go anywhere without those 2 being tied on at all. Anything else is just cream. It's just cream. So if you wanted to tie on a tube or something like that, and you wanted to skip tubes and skip Senkos under docks or into tough places, you can do that. If you find yourself on a rock reservoir where there's a whole lot of rocks and you just get caught in everything, and you want to downsize to something a little lighter, you can downsize to like a 1/4 ounce swim bait, and you can swim it nice and slow, and it goes real slow, so you're able to keep that lure on the bottom. And yeah, you'll know when fish bite a small swim bait like that, because it just loads up. It doesn't even, sometimes you feel them hit, most of the times it just feels like a weight just grabs you. like somebody just literally grabbed you as you went by. So those are the basic 7 rods that I would carry. The other thing that you're going to need is your go bag. You need to get a small tackle bag. And it doesn't have to be a big tackle bag. So if you come out there with this big, monstrous, gargantuan thing that can hold 20 boxes, it's not necessary. You need something that holds about 5 boxes. 5 boxes is all you need. And in those 5 boxes, you can put the things that you need in there. Topwater, square bill crankbaits, your deep diving crankbaits, stick baits, your hula grubs, your tubes, your worms, your Senkos, your frogs. You can put all of them in every one of these boxes. And if you try and just be specific about each one, and you're gonna waste a lot of space. So don't be afraid to, compartmentalize and put it all together. But for me, that's what I do. I make sure that I've got a little bit of everything. And there are a lot of boxes that you have in your boat that right now, I'll bet you money, I'll shake a stick, that you haven't opened in a long time. And those are the ones that you don't need. I don't need the bubblegum fluke, but of course you know how it goes. The very second you don't carry that bubblegum fluke, I don't know if you're thinking like I'm thinking, that's when you're going to need the bubblegum fluke. No, make sure you keep some light baits with you, so if you're trying to work small stationary spots and it's tough to be able to see in the water, it makes it easier to see, and the fish pick it up, you can lay the wood to them. So if you're fishing beds or something like that, you can toss it in there and kind of keep your eye on it, and if you see the fish pick it up or your lure disappears, then lay the thunder on them, put it on them. But after you've carried that, after you've got your go bag set up, make sure you have a couple of extra reels with you. If you're going to have 4 or 5 rods, what you need the versatility of being able to cut something off and tie something else on quickly on those rods that need to do multiple duties. And when you get it done quick. Get back in the water. The analytics of fishing are very important for you to understand. How many casts per minute? How many targets are you hitting? How many, if you were to just do the math of it and you cast 6 times a minute, you realize that you cover a lot more water. So when you hear guys like Kevin Van Dam and those guys, they have the lure in the water at all times. And when they're casting it, boom, they're putting it out there fast, and they're cranking it, and they're only after the aggressive fish. And they're using the analytics of the whole situation. So if you were to cast 100 times and you caught only 2%, you'll have 2 fish per 100 casts. And if you're casting 6 times a minute, it's simple arithmetic. You don't need to realize that you don't have to worry about how long it'll take for you to catch 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 fish, if that be the case. So, get the right 7 rods. Don't go beyond that. Get your go bag. Fill it with the lures that you need. Make sure you add a culling system, your own culling system. Make sure you add scissors that can cut braid. Some people like to bring a razor with them. Some people definitely want to throw some super glue. Some people will bring a culling beam to make sure they can weigh out multiple fish to see who's the heaviest in case you're culling. I hope you are. But for me, I keep it pretty simple. I do have a measuring board in mind just in case your angler doesn't have a measuring board. And the other thing you need to make sure you bring with you is your darned life jacket. If it's me, one thing that I'll always forget is I'm running out the door and I'm in a kerfuffle because I didn't plan it earlier, is my darn life jacket. Definitely make sure you pack it. And try and pack the night before. That way you have time to go through it and checklist it and go back through it and make changes again and again and again. And add some more lures or, subtract some lures. Whatever you do. But don't show up tournament day with billy goat on your back, you have this big king-size backpack that's 17 feet tall, weighs 100 pounds. It's not necessary. Put your go-to baits in there, get your go-to rods, and go out there and fish as strong and as positively as you possibly can. So, I just wanted to keep it simple. Wasn't trying to get too erratic with it, too crazy. And if I have touched anything that you think works, let me know. put a comment down there. If there's anything I've forgotten that we want to make sure that people remember to grab this or grab that. Oh, your glasses. Make sure you get glasses. Make sure you bring your glasses with you. Gloves. Make sure you bring gloves with you. Make sure you bring your cold weather gear and your rain gear with you. Those are the types of things that you just got to make sure you remember. But if I've forgotten anything, leave in the comment section for other people, so that we can all learn together. So if you like what I'm putting down, do me a favor, hit the like button, and if you want to hear more of what we're talking about, hit the subscribe button. But I'm going to be dropping something every 2 weeks, so I'll see you in 2. Get out there and go fishing.